Okay, and I believe I'm back. Yeah, a bit of a crash there in the middle of Haskell compilation, JHC compilation, I think. So let's do things. Let's do it again, but in just a slightly different manner, so that we have it being done inside the terminal window for Visual Studio Code. That's going to be easier to follow, I think. So we just do Nix shell default, and then we hope it starts where it stopped. Maybe we should have used the opportunity to upgrade to GC 8.10.4, but let's just see. So maybe it actually already restarted to build. Waiting for build slots, huh? So it's building. Yeah, it's back to building stuff using GHC 865. So I suppose it's already back doing its stuff. So maybe it's the log of Nix daemon that we need to check out. Multi-user support daemon, build actions on the Nix store. Okay, so can we journal ctl -u Nix daemon? -f. So it did crash. No, I don't think that. I think that's when I shut down VS Code. I don't know if we. How do we get the log from the previous boot? List boots. -1, right? Boot -1, and is that what happened? Your system is too slow. Okay, that looks like a crash right there. Right? Hold on. No. So this has been happening, and I haven't had a chance to troubleshoot it. But yeah, it's happening constantly. I don't think that that's related to the error. So it doesn't look like any crash I can see immediately there. That's strange. So could it be that just it's my mouse that gets disconnected? That would be strange, because that's kind of what it says here, is that the mouse actually disconnected. But looks like it's done. Well, not completely done, no. But it got a slot. It's got a slot, and it's doing stuff with it. And it looks like it's the main thing that's being ran at this point. It looks like it's building Cabal now. I don't know if that's more advanced than we were. Sorry. Oh boy. More advanced or less advanced. Let's see. Nix daemon logs. Skeptical that logging every request is useful. I see. Nix build daemon, keep the Nix log. Yeah, same thing, but yeah. Oh, okay. Now it's configuring libraries. That sounds like that's. Oh, but GHT boots again? Also, okay, right. So now it's after doing this, then I suppose it's going to actually build GHT 810. Yeah, and now it's starting to build GHT 810. No, maybe it sees that it's already done some work on that. Whoa! Wow, there was a flash of lots of usage, lots of GHT 86 threads or instances being used right there. Okay, well, let's hope it doesn't happen again. And where were we? We were looking at the code of GHT Hello World in Haskell. We were creating elements, which were just placeholders. Then we assigned we put the file name that we received as an argument as a location for the source object, that's a file source, add a message handler. Seems like we're building these objects out of whole cloth. Then adding these elements into the pipeline, linking the elements together, source to demuxer, decoder conv and sync, demuxer to, or when the pad is the decoder is added, we link that to demuxer. But hold on, it can't. It has to be that those. Oh, it's the same as Hello World there. It's a duplication of the Hello World code. Okay, that's very useful. Let's go check it out. Yes, exactly the same thing. So no, so this has to be an actual thing then. This is the file source element. This is not something. This is not just a name. It's actually the file source element. So we need to find the documentation for the file source element. I'm surprised that we couldn't find it just by doing file source here. That's really strange. We do get file source, but not with the dash. Okay. And the only result is this. This is really weird. Base util library. Okay, let's do a Google search GStreamer file source element. Push file src. Right, file src, but push seems like something else. File src. It's not in there. Okay, there is something I still don't understand, I think, here. you want to create different elements using GST element factory make. For Knock Vorbis audio player, we need a source element that reads files from a disk. GStreamer includes this element under the name file src. Oh, God, I'm looking at the wrong thing. That's the name, and that's the plugin, or the library GST element. Okay, so if I search for file src, whoopsie, then I get all the things, and I don't need to be in. Wow, I used the shortcut without wanting to, and there we go. That's the file src. How do they call it? They call it a plugin, but it's a default plugin, I suppose. It's the file src thing. It has a location, and so yeah, here, perfect. That's the type of thing that actually we're doing. We're building this pipeline with the file source element, and then we're passing it to something that decodes and so on. And that's exactly what's happening in this code right there. File src. That's the name of the thing. Those are the plugin names. Okay. Oh, finally. Okay, I reoriented myself. Let's look at our compilation here. What are we doing here? We are doing these tests, and that's one of these that actually, I mean, I call them tests because there's profiling information coming out with number of garbage collection pauses there. And I don't think we should have to actually recompile everything there. I think we should be able to actually get this from cache, but maybe we'll learn this next time. You know, I still need to do some understanding of the code and reading before actually implementing. Okay, so so that's great, and that's fairly equivalent to something that we could be doing with the GSTD daemon from I forget their name, from RidgeRun. And that has an API that can be called. I suppose that if we actually go even lower level, if we look at the quick start guide, we can pass it a pipeline with a name and then the implementation of the pipeline written as text, and that will just create the pipeline. And we can, and there's a JavaScript client for it. So using the JavaScript client, that would be super useful if we want to write some pure script code that actually instantiates pipelines, and then basically delegate to GSTD the creation of these pipelines. The question is, do we want some kind of common interface? And I don't even know exactly what that means yet at this point. Yeah, I think it's a bit too early to think about that. It's probably fine to just use the low-level binding there. We'll be doing pretty much the same thing, except that we can then hook this up into maybe higher level APIs in Haskell, or type classes and interfaces that maybe surface more of the graph nature of this. But we shall see. I mean, I think that feels really pleasant to my intuition. But let's continue a bit. Like, so object property strings, just a way to call the location property in the file source plugin with the file name argument. And then right, so that there's callbacks right there, signaling. We're able to get a bus or signal bus or control bus from the pipeline with pipeline get bus, and then we're able to add a watch, basically a callback with our bus call function. Yeah, a bus call function, and And so it means that I think the bus call function will be called the bus call function, what does it do? It gets the message, it checks whether we're at the end of stream. If so, we quit, and if we check whether we have an error, and if so, we write it and we quit. So it seems like it's not doing anything else, so why not? That's fine. Okay. That's probably just a way to output some stuff like end the stream and the message. Okay, that's fine. And then it passes this loop, and the loop, we got the loop from main loop new, like from glib. I'm curious about this. I'm not familiar with this idiom, and so let's see if it's in the docs. I suppose it would be in the GI glib library. And maybe functions. Let's see. Let's go into functions. What was it? Create loop. Let's see. How is it called? Main loop new. Tons of stuff in there. Main current source. So not in here, but let's go to index and M and find main loop new, and that's in struct main loop. And what's a struct main loop? The gmain loop struct is an opaque data type representing the main event loop of a glib or GTK plus application. I see. So that's an interesting programming approach there. So the way that you can get some control over the main loop is by getting some data type that you can do operations on, I suppose, that is kind of a proxy for the actual main event loop that's running in glib. What is glib really? Core application building blocks for libraries and applications written in C. Provides the core object system using GNOME, the main loop implementation, and a large set of utility functions for strings and common data structures. glib fundamentals. Okay, just types. Main event loop. Oh, really? That's what you call documentation? Okay. Description. The main event loop manages all the available sources of events for glib and GTK plus application. These events can come from any number of different types of sources, such as the file descriptors. New types of event sources can also be added using gsource attach. Single iterations of gmain context can be run with gmain context iteration. State of a main context. So to allow multiple independent sets of sources to be handled in different threads, each source is associated with a gmain context. A gmain context can only be running in a single thread, but sources can be added to it and removed from it from other threads. All functions which operate on a gmain context or built-in gsource are thread safe. Each event source is assigned a priority. Default priority is G priority. Default is 0. Value less than 0 denotes higher priority. Values greater than 0 denote lower priority. Events from high priority sources are always processed before events from lower priority sources. Idle functions can also be added and assigned a priority. This will be run whenever no events with a higher priority are ready to be processed. The gmain loop data type represents a main event loop. A gmain loop is created with gmain loop new. Hey, main loop new. Oh, it's created with it. Oh yeah, no, it's just a gmain loop, yeah. After adding the initial event sources, gmain loop run is called. Is called, or do we call it? This continuously checks for new events from each of the event sources and dispatches them. Finally, the processing of an event from one of the sources is to a call to gmain loop quit to exit the main loop, and gmain loop run returns. So I think that's in glib itself that this happens. It seems like, right? Because we get the main loop and then we're able to quit, but we don't run it here. We don't run the main loop, right? Main loop new. Get the bus. Yeah, no, I think that's being done outside. I think probably GST will call that for us, maybe. Or glib. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I love the fact that we're gonna have that this model, I mean, effectively, if we succeed in grafting the deny-Rhine approach onto glib, then we'll have like a pretty strong runtime with event loops that can be split on multiple threads. Maybe I'm not sure how we deal with that with Haskell and GHC to try and maybe pin specific threads to specific cores and things like that. But that should be quite interesting. And it's nice to have a runtime that offers these capabilities, especially because we also have audio and video streaming. And possible to create new instances of gmain loop recursively when showing used in GTK plus applications when showing model dialog boxes. Is composition, does this use GTK? Yeah, oh, that's really cool. So we have good examples, recent and from a really good programmer, about how to do Haskell-like things with GTK. In fact, haven't I read a blog post about building a high-level interface for GTK? What am I doing? Yes, that one. Going from imperative GUI to declarative GUI. So I think we're going to be able to apply these lessons to GStreamer so that we have a solid declarative style rather than this super imperative mode. So I suppose one of the first thing we could do to do this, and I think this will add to the sanity of whatever we attempt, is to write GST hello world basically in the new style. So write basically GST hello world in the declarative GTK plus style of blah. I think that's a much saner platform to launch from. That's going to be quite some work. So that's the declarative hello world. So it looks like init and getting some windows and some buttons and oh no, so that's the declarative one. Where's the imperative one? Yeah. Yeah, I suppose there's no imperative one to compare, but it's all good, and it's pretty, and we're probably going to want that fairly soon, actually. Have a GUI thing. And in fact, doesn't Dunai have a GTK? Haskell. GitHub. GTK, GTK2HS. Maybe not. Huh. No, Dunai. I see. Yeah, not. Huh. Right, because it uses like Glut and the OpenGL stuff. Because that's, I suppose, the more kind of game-like stuff. All right, and I want to have the distributed one. Yeah, something that I've been doing off screen is that I succeeded in compiling a distributed version, something that actually used like the more recent version of libsdl2. So I suppose that this is what I was looking for. I couldn't remember the name of it. That's the more game-like framework that's used usually, that includes OpenGL capabilities and also sound capabilities. So it'd be interesting to actually educate ourselves a bit more on how SDL and, well, glib and GTK and GStreamer somewhat, compare, or because they obviously have different target usage, but my intuition is that glib is more bare bones and more like Kit-like. SDL2 is more integrated. In fact, it wouldn't be impossible that SDL would be implemented in terms of GTK. It's just a multi-platform thing, but what is it implemented? Okay, yeah, source code as a as a tarball is fine, but how about source code as a repo? I see, it's because it's Mercurial. You guys are using Mercurial. Yeah. The source code tutorials. It could be that it's actually implemented directly in C. So it's kind of a whole replacement. So how does SDL2 compare with glib? Well, it uses glibc, links against glibc, integrate. Oh, let's see about that. Glib sources compulsory callbacks, integrate SDL with the glib main group. Last time I did something with Vala and SDL, I use standard SDL event loop. Integration of cog-L. What is all these things? Don't know any of these things. Cog-L. Main loop integration. Functions for integrating cog-L with application main loop. What is cog-L? And why do you take me to... okay. That's just an integration because I clicked that link. Cog-L, a modern 3D graphics API. I see. OpenGLES. I see. And so people integrate SDL with glib. Sadly, SDL makes this very difficult. So people integrate the two, but it's not easy to integrate it. And I suppose that they must have an overlap in functionality, but some people want to integrate them. Maybe to have the GTK windowing system and then SDL maybe seen. But doesn't SDL have windows? Or is that more low level? Well, first of all, it compiles like on everything. That's why people want it for games. It's just that it's a common interface for like so many interesting target platforms. Huh. Whereas GTK, I mean, it might be buildable on all of these things, but probably with more effort, I would imagine. Introduction. Used by video playback software, emulators, and popular games. Officially support blah and so many other things. What can it do? 3D graphics. So that's the main thing they write at the top, and that's something definitely glib doesn't provide. Accelerated 2D render. So it's really about accelerated graphics. Huh? It also provides access to controller hardware, but it has a window manager, and yeah, the input events and the audio with SDR mixer. But yeah, I suppose it doesn't do video, right? It just does graphics rendering. So you might, one of the other reasons why you might want to interact with glib is to get video. Build SDL non-glibc, integrate SDL2 GUI. Okay. Including the glib library. What's that? Oh boy. Doesn't look like it yet. Okay. Vala. That was mentioned earlier. Basic 2D game engine, ST2 and Vala. What is Vala? Oh, a compiler. Programming language using, so based on sort of that G-object GNOME abstraction. Interesting. And so in this case, it does use both VGL, Virgil. You're tired of installing Windows VMs to use common 2D game engines. Having to run around in a circle, finding a Linux-compatible engine I can use to fruitlessly make simple games. Virgil is built from the ground up using Vala and the SDL2 library and its sister libraries such as SDL2 TTF. It's my first major project and my first deep dive, first proper development. Okay. So it does glib stuff using the Meson build system. So that's recent then. Yeah, very recent. With not all operating system support. Okay. There's a project page. Maybe it has more of the concept. Projects. Work in progress, I see. Demo. Vala. The player, a render queue, some window title. So for instance, will it use the SDL windowing system or the... Oh, what? No, don't tell me. Looks like maybe things have stalled again. Oh, maybe not. Whoa, my monitor is... Oof, stuff is going on big time. It's catching up. It seems like it stalled for a bit, but it seems like it's struggling to get back on track, but it seems like it's live again. But not sure what happened there. Also, like the Nix shell there, it's not displaying anything. Plus, we have rendering artifact problems right there. I wonder what happened there. Let's see if we can have some info from the journal. Oh, it could be that I wasn't seeing all things because I wasn't sudoed. Aha. Crash annotation, graphics critical error. So graphics just had a big problem. Actually, yeah, we have a call stack, a crash stack right there. CPU 48. So the windowing system had an issue right there. GPU watchdog, segfault. Segfault on the GPU, hey? Right, the Radeon card, that's what I saw blink first. I couldn't update for a while, and now it seems like it's still struggling to do things. Let me move it, try and move that window to this. Yeah, it's totally, it's unhappy. It's quite unhappy. Okay, but maybe is that also OBS, that after the GPU recovered, OBS is having trouble recovering itself. Yeah, I see it's still blinking. Okay, but then maybe something else happened before the Radeon card had a problem. Then I think maybe the whole windowing system restarted after that crash, and so what do we have? VM fault. It seems like the yeah, GPU fault detected. That's on that Radeon thing, but it seems like my build hasn't recovered. I don't know how that's related, but could be again like something about maybe the terminal having trouble restoring itself after the system recovered somehow, the display manager recovered. Yes, so where am I? A JavaScript error, that's it's another thing. In Firefox, okay. Shouldn't be too much of an issue, right? GPU fault detected. So we had several GPU faults detected. Is that right? GPU fault detected and GPU fault detected. Yeah. So yeah, so that Radeon card seemed to have had multiple problems from the DMA and the TC. Don't know what those things are, but the kernel was like, I'm having none of that. Window Manager buggy client. Could be that the OBS is the buggy client. JavaScript error for picture-in-picture. That doesn't seem critical at all. RTKit seems to have been supervising more and more things. And then GPU lockup after the GPU faults. and then things get crazy. And I suppose that that's what happened before, except they get crazy, but for some reason it was able to recover, which is pretty impressive. It took it had a lot of errors, and then about 10 seconds after, it had a proper, well, it saved some things. And it did a GPU soft reset. And then did some tests, and it reinitialized properly. And the GPU workdog said that it saw a sec fault with a specific. Then it did a core dump, and actually timed out. Didn't quite, wasn't quite able to reboot right away. And I suppose that's the core dump. Or maybe it had another core dump, and then it soft resets again, but this time it said core dump succeeded, and then maybe things are back. That's what you would assume. If we look at the end of the log, then we definitely see that yeah, new things have been done since then. All right, there's also some of these crash annotations from the compile shader, from Firefox being like, hey, I couldn't do GPU things for a while. And then, right, the GNOME shell says, hey, I probably couldn't render there for a while, which is why it looked a bit like it was catching up on things. And then it tried to, like the GNOME shell tried to push a model to us, but we couldn't see that. So maybe it was trying to say that something was going wrong. It couldn't. Okay. I'm satisfied with my understanding. So seems like hardware mess up. So let's see whether Nix daemon is still running. It looks like it is. And it's now doing haddock things, of all things. That seems to be taking only one Nix build slot on processor 45, I would guess, even if it's pinned. And it looks like we are using the version H10.2 now. So let's see, if I control C here, yeah, it looks like this terminal is botched. So let's close it, and then let's open a new one here, and let's do the Nix shell and see what's up, and drink a bit. Okay, it's building libraries. Seems to be still using 865 though. That's not good. Oh, it's RMing? Is it restarting? Come on. What's the RM all about there? You had plenty of stuff. Oh, damn, it looks like it's starting again. That's not good. Okay, well, 8.4. And then let's look at the cache then. How to use Why? Maybe it's just that it has the cache only for 804. So maybe this is just going to download stuff. Who knows? For bit packages, copying some path, building some dummy GHCs. What is that? Autoreconf, autoconf, configure flags, prefix 810.4. GCC wrapper. Checking for GHC. So it looks like it's still going to rebuild GHC, but at least it's going to build GHC 10.4. Huh. So clearly not using any cache. Why is that? Haskell Nix not using binary cache. Oh, I don't have the cache. Okay, okay. Public keys, binary cache, and we need the cache entry, and it's without a comma, and it looks like we also need the public key for cache, so let's take it and put it, I suppose we can actually put it right there and then do the same thing here and rebuild. I actually don't think we need to rebuild. And okay. Is it gonna find? Do I need to use cache or something? No, I shouldn't. I think this should be the equivalent for use cache, right? No, it's, well, it is compiling the MTL. It could be that Nix shell is just a wrong way to go. Let's do Nix build. -f default Nix. Do I have cache installed? Doesn't look like I do, so is that maybe the mistake here? I just need to have cache installed. Well, let's nixenv -i, see how that works. NixOS CacheX. Improve experience on NixOS. Okay, and what if I build now? Looks the same to me. Yeah. How about CacheX use then? CacheX. The workflow would then be like this. Instead of CacheX use, copy output. Okay, CacheX use. Currently CacheX use on NixOS causes it to output a message like this. Okay, so we'll be part of 168. Fixes all that stuff. Okay, how about this? Sudo CacheX use foobar. To start using CacheX as the following import SQL blah. Haskell Nix CacheX. Just give me something simple, please. Why is there no introduction? Okay, well, first of all, let me put CacheX in my NixOS env. Clearly needs to be there. And rebuild. And then let's look again. Okay, is there such a thing? ls -etc NixOS CacheX? No, there isn't. So we're rebuilding now. Tons of new stuff. The CacheX, and let's see, etc NixOS CacheX. No, there isn't such a thing. Nor here. Okay, is there a way to see what's configured currently? There isn't. Oh, default is there. And there's nothing there. But will this binary cache thing no, I'm not clear. Still not clear. Okay, let's look at our configuration.nix again. Binary cache is hydra.ioshkida.cachex.org, and the public keys, and they look right. And so I suppose, right, if maybe I do CacheX use and hydra.iohk.io. Doesn't exist or it's private, so not that. iohk.cachexx.io.org. HTTP. It's just iohk. Cachexx use iohk. This user doesn't have permission to configure binary caches. That might be the root cause. The same command as root to write Nix configuration, or add the following to configuration.nix to add your user as a trusted. And then try again. Nix.trusted users. Sounds useful to me. There isn't a trusted thing yet? No. Okay. Rebuild. Okay. Configured. Still doesn't look like anything's being downloaded from elsewhere. Okay, so we're still not there. Start using cachexx. Okay, so maybe once I did the cachexx use, it was configured, but maybe I need to rebuild. Could also be that that whole that Nix build default.nix is actually wrong. That's also possible. That's not the correct invocation. Okay, I'm going to trash that terminal window as well and start a new one. Still wants to rebuild the whole thing. Troubleshooting. Why am I building lots of packages? We don't generally cache much of package. Why am I building GHC? Yeah. When will you not build GHC? You have configured the binary cache correctly. Using one of the GHC version we support, 8.10.4 on Nix package 20.9. I'm pretty sure that's my version. Nix package, don't even know how to see the version, but 10.9 sounds right. So it should work. Set up the binary cache. You will build several copies. Push by CI, or if you're a trusted user, config nix.conf. So do I also need to put this into config nix.conf? It's there. But there's yeah, no, it's all there. The Hydra one. There's several for the NixOS one for some reason. Hydra.io, yeah. It seemed right. I'm not sure about Y-1, but I hope that's not causing problems. It could be because it then is configured inside my .config and in the configuration.nix. Well, this can be tricky to set up properly. This seems standard enough. Why is it tricky? You are using one of the Nix packages version used by RCI. Pinning the Haskell.nix version. Isn't that done by this? Are you kidding me? Is it that these instructions haven't been updated right there? Default.nix. Nix package src. Nix package src. There's no such thing right there. The shell is a different thing, and this is Bluetooth as well. It's not Haskell.nix. There's default.nix in here. There is. It looks completely different. I suppose it's because this one is the one that gets imported. Haskell Nix sources, Nix packages. Okay, so let's try with 09 here. How about that? Downloading stuff. It's a table for it though, for some reason. This is 10.4. Copying some path. I think that's better. Downloading latest package list. Okay, let's be a good Samaritan here. If we can be. Docs. Tutorials. Getting started. Move tab to new window, please. Thank you. And two-factor auth in my phone. Okay, then we gained GitHub in dark mode, and let's edit this thing. Fix Nix packages version. That's it. Following the getting started guide. Getting started guide would rebuild GHC because of the old Nix packages version. And missing destination, blah blah. Oh. Actually, seems like that's not the only fix that's needed. MK Cabal project packages. Okay. That could be just because there's no project yet in this folder. So let's see, can we run Cabal and what's the version of it? We cannot. Can we run GHC? What's the version of it? We cannot. I suppose we're not in the shell at this point. We've been because I'm not doing Nix shell. Okay, let's try Nix shell. I mean, Nix build should have built it that it doesn't put me in the shell. Missing destination file open after dot. Project plans to Nix package. It could be that it's just wants a Cabal. So let's just install a Cabal for now. I think that's the way. And Cabal init. Or is just maybe Cabal new, maybe Cabal new. Cabal create a new .cabal package file. Or maybe you need to do a Cabal update first. Enable Nix. Maybe this could be called shell.nix. I don't know why I would need to do Cabal update to init. Yeah, I really don't know why I should. This doesn't make sense. Flags, but you shouldn't need flags. Program GHC. I see. I didn't read the error message correctly. Okay. Fine. Well, bootstrap a GHC. You might actually have one lying around, right? You can just download the cache. Sure, why not? I mean, at least it's a binary. I don't think I like this. What is it? Scribe? Scribe. Haskell Nix. These have. Did this use. Um, Seems like that has more information. Okay, and then will that work this time? I mean, that was a big assumption that this was the error, that it needed to have some cabal file. But this was correct. Well, it failed, but seems like it went further, right? But it can't fulfill base or streamline, apparently. I just need to cabal update, I think. Installation. Installing global packages. Basic Haskell project. Okay. Module main, cabal version, Nix dependency management with Niv. Yeah, it'd be nice, it'd be better to do that. I think, do I have Niv? I don't have Niv, okay. Nix minus I, Niv. We can issue a Niv in the project directory as follow. So Nix shell. Okay, yeah, I think I just need to do Niv init once. Oh. Getting tons of stuff from Cachex for some reason. Maybe because Niv is actually a Haskell tool. Niv init. That sounds good to me. And then what? Naive attempt. Create naive default. Trust to build with Cabal directly. Okay, default attempt. We can instead try the default way of building Haskell packages in Nix. Story by Gabriel. And how Haskell and Nix packages work. A mono version. Okay. Haskell.nix. There's an alternative approach. Haskell Nix is based derivation. Okay, we put the keys, and we do, aside from that first hurdle, we define a project.nix. That looks like a more recent version of this. So I think we'll use that instead. Okay, paste and copy. So that's a project.nix. We used a version of Haskell.nix managed by Niv and imported. Sources.nix. What? Where do you guys put this? How come sources.nix? Don't understand that. Then call the function Haskell.Nix packages kebab project to define a kebab-based Haskell Nix project. We provide the Haskell source code to the src attribute. Okay. We don't have an src. Inherit src, and src is the building path. Why these dots? I think path will be just dot for us, and sources.nix would be niv, or nix sources.niv, something like that. Except I have this in default now, but let's try and build it. Let's see whether it actually changes anything. Unexpected dot. This dot. Well, probably doesn't want to be a string either. Haskell.nix missing. Okay, so it's just not working. Yeah, it's because of this whole weird project folder there that they've done. There's no link to the GitHub. Right. It's supposed to be this, but I suppose it's supposed to be read as a in the Git GitLab repo. GitHub and blah, and that's the one. Code, and where was it? Haskell project v1 in 5 package management. I suppose we want to go directly to v3. So there's a Nix thing. There's a sources.nix, which is, I think, the niv managed one. And then Haskell.nix materialized that has. Okay, let's just copy those things. Let's do a shell.nix here. Have import project.nix. That sounds fine to me. So this guy is the project.nix, I believe. Project.nix and project.nix. What does this one have in it? Has more things that look like what we had. It just wants this Haskell.nix defined, I think. That's the thing, right? Or what's in default.nix? This is materialization. We don't know what this is, but it's supposed to have a hello exec component. I suppose we can try and think about what that would be for us. It would probably be streamline. Executable streamline. And what's planned hash? Don't know. Plan has default.nix. Oh, so that's the materialization. That must be pretty advanced. Multi-version. Okay, maybe we don't want to be that advanced. Next packages. What's about Haskell.nix here? Default look the same. Let's copy that project. There's going to be Nix sources. It's not going to find Haskell.nix, attribute Haskell.nix missing. Ah, right, because I need to initialize niv with something else. There we go. That makes sense. Invalid option dash dash rev. Version, I think, then. Shared Haskell, yeah. Path is dot. But you don't want dot. How about dot slash? Line 10. No, you don't want dot slash. Okay, maybe. Doesn't represent. Oh, what? You want an absolute path now? But this is not an absolute path. Okay, fine. How about that then? This is ridiculous. I suppose I don't know Nix is where it's ridiculous, but oh, 810.2, yes, 810.4. I'll actually not get the cache otherwise. So you got a super old version of Hackage for some reason. I mean, that doesn't look old to me at all. What's going on? Requested index state is newer than blah. Falling back to all the state. Why are you doing that? Is the revision by default niv will initialize the latest Nix packages version available. You can explicitly override the commit version of Nix packages to the one in this tutorial. I suppose we can do that, fine. Might be, I don't know how much older it's going to be. We're going to need to say version here, I think. Minus v. What can I build? Still say that things are old. I suppose we can, yeah, we can just go for the default one. Is it going to be the default one? Niv master rev Nix packages unstable. Okay, how about we just delete it? Then we niv init. and we're just going to leave add without a revision. And then we're going to build. Still think that the Cabal file is old and it still failed with the same errors. What's the Cabal version? Which Cabal are we using here? The one that I just installed. And if I Nix shell, still gonna build the same thing, so you're gonna have the same problem. Yeah. And I created this Cabal. So conflicts install is for 14. Okay, maybe we just do less than 5 and we'll be happier. Okay, yeah, it seems like it's downloading the binary for GHC, so that's good news. Whew. So many little things that can go wrong. Oh, it built. So hold on. Now let's try to go into the environment. Okay, let's reload. And let's try to go in the environment. That doesn't matter. But Haskell language server is not there. But yeah, that is correct. We don't have Haskell language server, I don't think, in there. Let's see if there's an example with it. No. With Hugo equal false. Haskell language server haskell.nix. Haskell for Nix. I think that's something else. Install PKG's Haskell language servers. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do, but I don't know how to do it with this config. Yeah, I want to do something like this, but I don't know how. is using different syntaxes that I'm not used to. Just don't know the expression language well. Compiler Nix name. Why do all these IOHK projects not even have the Haskell language server? Package quirks, test default.nix, HLS cabal, build.nix, HLS change, remove older versions. Yeah, I think that's not going to explain to me how to use it. Maybe here? Installing Nix. Okay, maybe not. HLS. Haskell language server. Yeah, how about this? This looks like it has HIE. Haskell language server. Nix packages default.nix. Shell.nix. Nix packages not input local inputs. That must be it. And is that in project SQL? No, it's just in the let clause. And the project shell for ticks. So it's in native build input. And I think that goes there, right? Maybe no with Google. Yeah, no, I think it goes there. Build inputs equals Haskell language server. Maybe. Define variable. With packages. Local inputs gets added to the native build inputs. Yeah, I think I'm just not at the right level. I need to be in a shell 4 thing, which I suppose maybe it just means just redo that, please. Cut, and this needs to just be in here, I think. Define variable Nix packages. undefined variable. Oh, is it just that I need to do this? No, I'm already doing this with the width. They are defined somewhere else. Is there a need for an overlay somehow? Haskell language server exists from extra. It's not an overlay, but so you mean Haskell language server maybe just simply isn't in the default Nix packages. There's a way to do this, right? Nix REPL, Nix packages. Nix REPL, Nix packages. Oh. That's cool. Oh, yeah, it is not. That's what's going on. Would be too simple. So these guys do have a Haskell language server. Somewhere. In their packages. Where are they coming from? In Haskell, is it Haskell.packages? Hold on, if I do Haskell packages.haskell. Oh, oh, oh. Is that gonna work? Oh, it's doing something. Yeah. GC 884. Why? Because Haskell packages is probably just another way to download Haskell things. DHC 810, only 3. And then Haskell language server, is that right? Yeah. Okay, well, I suppose we'll do that. We'll find a middle ground, hopefully. We won't be on the latest version of GHC, but we'll do haskell.packages.ghc 8.10.3, the Haskell language server. And that's not going to be supported by the cache, right? And so we're going to be screwed. I think that it's probably going to rebuild 8.10.3 there. I mean, it could still be in the cache. Looks like maybe it is still in the cache. We'll see. Oh, hey. So I'm collected. Good to see you. Sorry, things are going well. I don't have proper feedback for chats messages on this machine yet. Streamline a variation of Haskell line that uses streams. It is not. Streamline is just this name I came up with that for the things that I want to do with this project, which are related to audio and video streams. So that's why it's called Streamline. Cabal new update. Oh, maybe it will work better instead of Haskell packages. Oh, it is working. Yeah, the whole, well, no, it's not working. It's trying to rebuild the whole world. So, and we don't have a Haskell language server for GHC 8.10.4. So we are just a tiny bit stuck again. So we need to be back in GHC 10.4, and we need to, I mean, I wouldn't mind building a Haskell language server, but I think this unfortunately just doesn't exist. It seems like the intersection of Haskell.Nix and Haskell language server is empty set. Unfortunately, yeah, our Haskell packages looks like I've been reversing things here, but yeah, we know there is no GHC 10.4 yet. Well, there's no GHC 10.4 yet on whatever the branch of my Nix sources is, but it could be that it is there in a more recent Nix packages, right? So maybe we can find that. Nix packages, and we want GHC 8.10.4. And there's a commit for it, and it's there. But maybe, I mean, will it be, so maybe that means that we need to track unstable or something. We can try that. You like using Haskell? Nice. Nix been frustrating. Yeah, me too. I want to learn it. Yeah, I know. So the reason why I started is, well, there's a few reasons, right? First of all, is like at work, I have some really super smart Nix expert there, so that I've been contributing quite a bit to the to Nix. So that means that I feel now I'm properly surrounded to go over that barrier to entry. But otherwise, I was absolutely like you. I felt like I wasn't ready. But the fact that this is my environment, that also meant that I've been a little bit more courageous, and that I'm streaming right now from NixOS. So that's nice, right? So I got a desktop computer that I installed NixOS on, and now I'm trying to install a Haskell development environment there. Yeah, I do use Haskell at work. I'm very lucky. Okay, so yeah, so we know we don't have GHC, we don't have Haskell language server. Oh, right. So I was saying just niv update to whatever more recent branch. So niv updates unstable or something. let's see, Nix package is unstable. I think that would be the command I want. If add Nix OS packages, Nixon. Yeah, I think that sounds good to me. Let's try this. Let's paste that. You can't add Nix packages because it already exists. Yeah, so we need to drop it. That's fine. Let's drop it. Nix packages, and then let's re-add it. And then we're probably going to have to restart our REPL. Oopsie. Yeah, and go into it, and then see if we can find, what was it, Haskell dot packages and GHC. I don't see 10.3 there. Ooh, we need to be even more recent than that. Okay. Unless I'm not using the right, maybe because I'm in the shell. Okay, let's try Nix REPL. Nix packages here. I still don't understand how these things work. Okay. Boom, and Haskell not packages. I mean, there's GHC, yeah, no, I don't see it. So yeah, we probably need to be more recent than unstable then. You agree? I'm lucky, yeah. Pushing Java. You know, I've been helping a friend with her Java exams, and oh boy, I was like, oh, so glad I don't have to do Java. Yeah, 8.3 is there, but it's 8.4 I need because Haskell.nix is using 8.4, and if I use 8.3, then I have to just rebuild GHC, and I don't want to rebuild GHC. That takes hours. So I need to just find. Really, what I can do is take the commit, I think, and then I can. Well, I can exit this, and I can drop Nix packages again, and then I can add. Not a branch, but a commit with this in this fashion. And then it's possible then that, oh, but hold on one second. Clearly, oh yeah, there's something that I'm misunderstanding, I think. But let's go into Nix packages. Let's just check our assumptions here that actually packages and that GHC, it's not there. Yeah, so I'm a bit lost. 8 days ago, it's super recent. But there's no reason that I can see that it wouldn't work. Well, I suppose I just won't have a Haskell language server. That is also possible. I can probably work just a little tiny bit without it. And what I wanted to test, just to pop back the stack there, was yeah, the hello world example from the GST. I think I had this in a different window. No. Oh, I didn't. I just, yeah, I wanted to test this, and then I just have tons of windows open because that's what I do. And so GI, we can close this, we can close this. That's the guy. Okay. And I'm not sure even that that's going to work on GHC 8.10, but we will try. And is that in a module? It is in a module, so we're good. And we can save this, and then we can check out Cabal file and see what we need for GHT Hello World. And we need this bunch of modules. And we can put them in the Cabal file in the what build depends, I suppose. Yes, put a comma in there. And here we go. Okay, not pretty indentation, fine. And you're currently using H10.2 and HLS, yeah, but not using Nix, right? HAE available instead. Oh, well, that's a good thought. But you know what? I think it will be, yeah, I think I'm gonna pause with tooling for a bit so that I just get to do just a tiny bit of Haskell before I sign off, because I've been, you know, sometimes when you get dragged into tooling, right, it's just, yeah, sometimes it's good to go back for a little bit on into non-tooling things. So I'm going to try that. Let's see. Nix shell select environment. That's an error. Okay, can I exit here? I think I'm in several nested environments, and then focus on the terminal. Terminal focus, focus on terminal view, and yeah, just Nix shell. I'll do things manually, that's fine. Aha, okay, what's going on there? Build depends. Ah. Unexpected major bound version syntax. Caret blah. Yeah, is that Cabal build Cabal version 2? Oh, right, yes. Why is my Cabal version? I did Cabal in it. I should have done Cabal new in it. Maybe that's the problem. Oh, thanks, Worm. I'm happy to be trying to do my noodling on Haskell there. Definitely trying to do something. Yeah, that at least I will continue working on stream after stream. So, and we do Haskell on Tuesdays as well. Okay, so all right, could not resolve dependencies. That's better. What do we need? We're conflicting with GI base 0.25. So there's only GI base 0.24 available. Yeah, why do we have this super old package version there? I mean, it's not super old. That looks like today, but then it tells us that it's 18,000 days old. What? Package list? This is completely strange. And I think this is because of the Haskell Nix tooling. And I don't know why it's doing that. It is definitely not intuitive. Okay. And it didn't even die with this thing for some reason, which is also strange. Okay, package list Haskell.nix package list is old. What's up with that? Cabal and Haskell Nix. Okay, well, it looks like I couldn't quite escape the tooling rabbit hole. Hello, tooling rabbit hole. I'm back. Why is my Cabal so old? Okay, maybe I need to tell Cabal to use Nix. It seems like there is a way to say this with enable Nix. So would that work? If I say enable Nix, then if I do update, to revert to previous. Okay, you did a thing. Also, maybe I should have done v2. Yeah, it's still old. V2. Okay. and if I Nix shell here, then it seems like it's picking up its own thing, which in the end does look more recent, but okay, maybe we just downgrade version for now. We just say 24. We accept that we're not at the bleeding edge quite yet because of our tooling issues, and that's not so bad. You wonder if it had to do with the trace, no index state specified. Ah, I like that. That's a very good idea. I should totally Google that. Haskell Nix. Haskell Nix. No index test specified for Haskell Nix project, using the latest index test that we know about. So we want a cabal.freeze. But maybe Haskell GI base actually isn't in Hackett yet. I mean, it's not impossible. Maybe it was just developed today, and maybe they're pushing. Because I just copy pasted this. I mean, that would be quite the quite the coincidence, to be honest. But let's see. Let's close a bunch of this stuff and take a look here. This was changed 14 days ago. Package, that's not the right one. It's Haskell GL base. And yeah, it doesn't have 0.25 published. So it's actually it's consistent. It just happens that not everything's been exported, has been uploaded yet. There's no proper CI and whatnot. Okay, pkgconf package does not contain the package streamer. Well, absolutely, because I need to install it. And so we shall install that. And that's what Nix is for, right? But okay, let's breathe and try and see whether we can make it work. I think it should be in project. That's the thing that's annoying me with this project shell for. But I don't know how to do this. So let's just continue with the way that we know, even if it's a little bit broken. So I think with Nix packages and then gstreamer and then colon, I think that should work. Visibly not. Why? Seems like it. Terminal. Seems like it didn't pick up the build inputs. I think this project shell for thing. You may need to augment the pkg-config package mapping in Haskell.nix that it can be found. Yes, that's right. That's what I'm trying to do. A pkg.conf package mapping. Okay, Haskell.nix shell for data structure package set config equal packages blah. Ah, okay. So maybe that's the way. Project.nix source compiler Nix name kebab project. This doesn't look like anything like what comes from the examples. The result of mk packages set. Creating a development environment. shell for packages equal blah. Okay, so okay, I think that's it. Shell for packages equals with Nix packages and GStreamer. GStreamer 10. How about this? You want some semicolon, have them. Haskell GI for graphics. Yes, it is. Haskell doesn't provide a useful description. So GI, I think, really is this G-object introspection library. So it's related to GNOME and the whole suite of tools that exists on top of the GNOME or inside the GNOME namespace, including things like GTK, you know, the graphics windowing toolkit, including things like GDM, the GNOME desktop manager, but specifically also GStreamer, which I'm interested in, which is like an audio and video streaming framework. And most of the stuff in the GNOME ecosystem supports GI, which is G-object introspection, which is a way for all code components to be able to expose their internals to outside users. So that means that you can actually derive an API just from that introspection. You can. So I think that's what GI. That's what I understand. The GI GST, which is for GStreamer, and then there's also GI GTK and GI glib. All of these libraries, they auto-generate their the bindings by using this introspection stuff. Does this make sense? I tend to call something which is not a function but a list. Okay, so it seems like I'm wrong again. Packages equals blah with PS blah includes only the local packages of your project. Tools. Build inputs. That's more like it, right? Build inputs. Some you may need to get some other way. How to get the development shell. Project blah. Haskell Nix packages. Maybe maybe it's not packages then. Maybe packages are the Haskell project packages. Maybe it is build inputs. That would be more logical because that's usually how it's called in the Nix ecosystem. So with but it wouldn't be in packages, the Haskell packages. It would be in just packages. Yeah, like so, right? If we use the Nix packages like this, I think that's the invocation. And I think I can remove all that stuff, and I can say with. It's actually with packages. It's right at the roots. Okay. Interesting, and thank you for the explanation. You're very welcome. You hope to build something with GTK later this year. Nice. Sooner you'd like to incorporate some audio. Hey, yeah, SDL2. I was actually looking at trying to compare how SDL2 and this whole GNOME thing compared earlier in the stream. Right now you're exposing some web service with Scotty and Y. Right. Yeah, I've done more web stuff than any desktop stuff, but I'm really interested in doing more desktop stuff. And actually, so when I looked at comparing GDK and SDL, what came out is that SDL and SDL2, they're really more focused on basically 3D graphics and 2D accelerated graphics. So it means that the whole SDL suite of tools is really more for GPU based, like using your graphics card really well. And so there are some, we were looking earlier at some SDL2, like there's some people that actually try to integrate SDL2 and glib. And there's also this project that seems to integrate SDL2 and Vala, which is some kind of DSL from the GNOME project, a compiler that uses the GObject type system. So there's stuff that interfaces both. And I did look at SDL2 first because I'm also interested in having good audio capabilities. But the truth is basically SDL2 in general, you don't do like video streaming inside a game, right? That's pretty rare. You will, do 3D rendering, till the cows come home, but you wouldn't necessarily stream video in there. So that's why there's some SDL2 and glib potential integrations. But right now I'm more interested in the video streaming side of things. I mean, I'm also interested in the 3D side of things, but actually GStreamer also has some pretty decent ways to interact with the GPU, including the GStreamer. What makes me prefer GStreamer to FFmpeg, for instance, is that it really has like this graph-like pipelines. Like the pipelines for GStreamer are very graph-like. Plus, it's very much used in industry to try and get like what would be called zero copy pipelines, where you have pipelines that pass their data basically from the network interface to the GPU with the minimal copying as possible. So really huge attention to performance there. And so if I can build a Haskell layer on top that will make the usage easy, then you benefit from all of the low-level C++ code and the pipeline creation and all of the drivers for like tons of hardware and tons of encoding formats just with the GStreamer layer. So that's kind of my thinking here. And then the other thinking about GTK is something really cool is the work that Oskar Wickström did with this blog post, Declarative GTK plus Programming with Haskell. He did that as part of his project Composition, which is a video editor for screencasters built in Haskell with GTK underneath. And so if you're doing a GTK project, then I would recommend that you take a look at this, because Oskar Wickström is a really good developer. He will be using fairly recent and smart ways to do GTK stuff in Haskell. So I would recommend doing that. And then I was definitely, since there's no GStreamer layer, that high-level API built on top of GStreamer, there's only these low-level bindings, then I wanted to find inspiration on how Oskar Wickström does his GTK plus programming in a more declarative Haskell-y way to apply that to GStreamer. So that's that's probably something that I want to go through as I my first attempt will be just running this low-level GStreamer code that's very imperative, and then I'll try to iterate by following what Wickström did with GTK to create a more pleasant layer. And yeah. Well, I hope it will help. Let's see. So let's go back in here. We're supposed to have our shell now have these build inputs, but it's not really working because pkg-conf packages does not contain the package GStreamer. So, okay, so let's see whether we have GStreamer. In fact, no, we don't. So I don't think it's properly built or properly referenced. Must be doing something wrong still. Let's take a look. Shell 4. Together development shell ad hoc. Mapping non-Haskell dependencies to Nix packages. Yes. The user may solve it by themselves by overriding Nix packages and adding a package alias. if there is a pkg's attribute in Nix packages that matches the name given in the Cabal file, then it will be added as a dependency. Oh, wow, that's right, through Cabal to Nix. Ah, right. But hold on. Let's Nix REPL Nix packages and things. Nix packages. And then let's pkgs. No, not pkgs, but gstreamer. Hold on, gstreamer is not there. I totally thought it was there. What? Nix packages gstreamer. I thought, yeah, it's supposed to be there. Yeah, I definitely checked that the other time. Gstreamer. So there's something strange going on in my shell that I clearly don't deal with properly. Gstreamer bad, default Nix, pkg's development. Oh! No, this should all be surfaced, I think. So is it just GST something? GST all. What's it GST all? Oh, well, it looks like it's here. Has it been moved into some weird sub directory? It could be because I'm in this unstable thing. Okay, well, fine. GST all. Oh, maybe we can install it all by doing GST all. That's also maybe the thing. GST all. GST underscore all underscore 1. Is that going to install everything? Let's see. Sorry for distraction, but do you know if GTK can be used on mobile, Android, iOS, more specifically for 2D, 3D graphics? I don't know that, no. That's one of the things that I was impressed with SDL, is that it really compiles on the world, right? Like including like consoles and stuff. So let's take a look. But Android and iOS, I think there's a good chance that it would, because I've seen GStreamer on GStreamer stuff on iOS. Yeah. So GStreamer does. GTK, I don't know. Let's see. I'd be surprised if it didn't. I think it does. It clearly does for Android. What about iOS? No. It says only native on Linux. You can build GTK apps on Windows and macOS, but they look like Linux app. Yeah, that's the thing. But Android and iOS each have their own GUI library. There might be, a way to do some mapping there. Actually, it seems like maybe in Android it's possible, but right. GTK in Android. I heard GTK 4 is going to use Google's Angle for rendering. Okay. Lip Handy. GTK now really looks amazing on mobile. Oh! GTK looks amazing on mobile devices. How about that? Lip Handy. What is that? Building blocks for modern adaptive no maps. Modern adaptive no maps. Oh, I believe that the docs look so fancy. Yeah, that doesn't mean that it's easy to run. That's just a UI library for mobile devices. Doesn't mean that it's easy to run on iOS. So yeah, it's not obvious. You found this, no, GTK is only native on Linux. You can build GTK apps on Windows, Mac. Yeah, I found the same thing. There's no support at all for GTK on Android and iOS. Yeah, that's yeah, but you can do. I mean, yeah, and I suppose also Haskell on iOS is tricky, but I don't know that you want to do Haskell with your GTK project. Yeah, mobile is I do want to go that route a little bit. I want to definitely try it out to do GHC on iOS and Android and GStreamer, because yeah, GStreamer does build. So yeah, so you know you can't do everything, but you can do some things. Yeah. Okay, so it's still not working. GST all. Did it say something about the GST all? It didn't build or copy anything, which is strange. So maybe I need to do this mapping that they're talking about in here, or mapping. Mapping in Haskell.nix, pkg config depends. Right, so maybe I need to have a pkg config depends section. I think that's the way to do things. I think pkg config depends and GStreamer 10. What's that gonna do? No, but I suppose that that's something that the GIGST library must be doing for us. So let's check this assumption, see whether we are sane or not. Haskell examples. Not the one we're using. Yeah, so it is in Haskell GI and not in the examples, but probably in the, well, not in the Cabal project either, I suppose. Maybe in bindings and GST, binding GST and overrides. No. So maybe it's in the Cabal project. Unless there's a Cabal file here. Build tools. Build tools doesn't seem like, maybe that's to this to generate the bindings. Okay. Haskell generated Cabal. That's probably there. How about GStreamer here? Can't find GStreamer here. Okay. So Cabal project. Okay, all the packages. Okay, yeah, they are GIGST Cabal. That sounds like what we want. Except it doesn't exist. Is it in lib? CLI? No. Bindings. Maybe it generates the Cabal file dynamically, which is why I can't see it here. Probably the case. Yeah, pkg config depends. So it's using this to generate a Cabal file dynamically. The little tricksters. It makes sense now. libhandy works with Linux phones OS to run GTK. Yeah, but not Android and iOS. It's not a big deal. Just curious if GTK had cracked that nut. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Yeah. I think it's still possible to do things like if you do Haskell and SDL on iOS, I think then you can have like an Xcode, like Swift wrapper that would actually properly call your Haskell code and delegate the OpenGL screen to SDL. I think that's probably possible. Obviously it's probably fairly hard to do with just SDL2 and iOS in general. If you add Haskell in the mix, then that's going to be another level of difficulty, but I think it's probably possible. Especially if you can, because that would be the way that SDL2 would work within a Swift application, right? So if you do SDL2 and Swift, Swift wrapper on SDL2. So yeah, so there's a way definitely to call SDL2 from Swift, and then if you have a way to call Haskell from Swift, then you can probably pass the correct objects to do the proper initializations and whatnot. I mean, you got to be a bit ready to do low-level stuff if you're going to go that route, but I think it's possible. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Kira, SDL2 iOS. So Kira had a closed source project. Oh no, hold on. I thought this was. No, it is closed source. This is just an issue tracker. So I think this magic cookie thing is available on iOS and on Android, and but they haven't open sourced it, unfortunately. But I think that Kira was using mostly SDL. So let's see. I think maybe maybe this is their kind of flagship open source project. I don't know if it's supposed to build on iOS or not. Cabal SDL, it doesn't use SDL. Uses Yampa and HGL. Huh. Maybe that's a low level. It's another binding to OpenGL. Yeah, I went a little bit down that direction, and I couldn't find much public stuff on Haskell iOS. There's Android Haskell there. Hasn't been. It's been updated fairly recently, actually. Wow. Haskell bindings to the Android ecosystem. So yeah, that would be something to definitely take a look at. I think it's unfortunate they don't have the iOS version of that. I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't. Yeah, they don't. But how about Kira Health? Is that supposed to work on iOS? It is. And UI agnostic, GTK, WXQT, iOS native. That if you want to do some Haskell, then that's definitely something worth looking at. 6 months ago, so that's the stuff that that's been worked on at Kira, huh? That's cool. And do they have iOS code examples here? Nah. iOS is now supported, they do say, 2016, but not clear how you would use it. But the fact that it's backend UI backend agnostic is probably something you want, which means that you could do GTK plus, but then you could decouple that and then put something native underneath for your iOS work. So that's probably the right architecture there. Plus, I mean, I'm really partial to FRP and to Ivan Perez's work, who's one of the founders of Kira. Really amazing developer right there. With your project, are you interested in building overlays and integration with Switch and other streaming platforms? So something I plan to work on this year. Yeah, I am. That's in fact part of the broader plan here. If I bring up the log that I've been working on, So the plan is on Tuesdays I work on more GPU things. So like more like using Haskell GPU to either do fast computation things, but also maybe do rendering things. So my my main example, or the way that I've been trying to get at it, is through running some of these n-body examples, n-body physics simulation in the GPU, because I feel that that's going to give me a good handle on how to do good high performance performance aware coding in Haskell with GPUs, and maybe then do generate 3D rendering things, and maybe even do more machine learning type things using the GPU on Tuesdays. And then on the Thursdays it's more like in the browser and doing things with PureScript. And one of the things that I've been working on so far is the chronofold data structure, which is a way to do collaborative text, because I'm interested in doing browser-based overlays that have a collaborative editing element to them, where where they're like viewers would be swarming and they connect to each other in a kind of distributed network, and then they can update their state, and that the state would converge progressively. So my example for that has been the chronofold data structure, which is a collaborative text editing data structure, and I'm still trying to plug in a network aspect to that, and I've been trying to use Hyperswarm, which is something that's been developed by some of the founders of the DAT project, which is a collaborative file or data sharing platform. And they did a network layer that's pretty good for distributed data, and that can work in the browser and in Node. So I've been playing with PureScript with that, but I want to move that up a layer and start doing Twitch overlay. And I've did a little bit of, I was able to plug in PureScript to Twitch overlays, but I did just very basic stuff. So now I've been working more on the architecture. And so because those are all personal projects, I'm also trying to just cram in as much learning that I can in there. And so I've been experimenting with some of these very experimental libraries like PureScript React Explorer, which is based on this stuff called comonadic UIs that Philip Freeman, the author of PureScript, developed. And then this approach PureScript run streaming, which is like coroutine using extensible effects in PureScript, which is also pretty fancy. And I want to play with that. So I've been stuck on playing with that layer and not doing much overlay stuff or even chronofold stuff lately. And then on Saturdays, I'm trying to do more of the using Haskell, but to plugging on top of a video streaming layer. And so that's a bit like, if you'd like, I called it SLZilla, because if I have something that works there, then I could actually replace OBS or Streamlabs and have something that I can do video streaming from webcams to and screen captures to the web in a way that's much, or that where I can decide how I want to build the interfaces in ways that are, I had some pretty crazy ideas about mixing kind of live performance and video editing kind of together, like manipulating time, where you're and collaborative contributions to that. So this is very experimental, but that's why I'm streaming these ideas, right? They're definitely not ready to be even formulated properly, but I have some ideas of little bits and pieces that I want to work on, and I've broken things down that way. Yeah. With your project, yeah, haha, that's my Swarm Collective. Yeah, of course. No. Sounds as though we have a lot of common interests. Excellent. Really glad to hear that. I really want to hear more about the stuff that you're doing. Do you stream as well sometimes? case. You do. Excellent. Yeah, distractions. Yeah, I try to cram my distractions inside my streams, so it makes them not necessarily, as easy to follow. But at least this way, it's pleasant. It stays very pleasant for me. I can indulge in following rabbit holes as much as I want. Tommy Landabot project. Nice. Oh, excellent, excellent. That's great. Yeah, yeah. Starting with existing projects is definitely the best way to learn. Totally agree. Da, da, da. All the things. So where is this GST all thing coming from anyway? GST all. It feels like it should be in project, right? It feels like it shouldn't be just in the shell. It doesn't make sense to have it just in the shell. So mapping non-Haskell dependencies to Nix packages. So we do have a pkg config depends that comes from this library. That's what we're finding out here, I think. Let's have it here. pkg config depends. It should depend on GStreamer 1.0, which is exactly the reason why we get this error message. It says, hey, I'm supposed to be depending on that. But if the thing is not available by name as GStreamer 1.0, actually, maybe I'll downgrade my my niv again. I'll drop the niv things, and I'll add the regular Nix packages. What am I doing here? I'll add the regular Nix packages so that I think maybe GStreamer will be available there. I'm also not clear about how much Haskell.nix hides from the original NIF package. It probably doesn't hide anything, actually. Okay, let's REPL into this and look at GStreamer. Also, no, there is the GST all. That's something that I didn't realize. Huh. Yeah. Maybe it is a little bit new. I don't know. GSTR.gst. Maybe. So we need to do mapping. I think that's mapping in Haskell.nix. If the name is commonly used, an alias can be added to the Haskell.nix sources. No, okay. So that's your guys' mapping. Okay, but let's look at your guys' mapping though, like quickly, get a sense. Right. So it's just this to that, and oh, GStreamer. It has GStreamer. So why? It has GStreamer things, but it doesn't have GStreamer itself. Huh. Plus, it's expecting a pkgs.gstreamer. See, that's what I thought. Why am I not getting GStreamer here? I don't get it. Why do you say it's undefined? I think there's something broken in my configuration. It has to be. Huh. You've been building several plugins for various reasons. Slowly becoming comfortable with Haskell. Certainly not proficient, nor do I understand the advanced topics. You're hanging out in the Haskell channel, which is a new concept, watching everyone working with Haskell on Twitch. That's awesome. Yeah. Before I started developing, I spent like almost 3 years basically just reading and looking at YouTube videos from the Haskell developers and just getting familiar with the concept. It took me forever to start even actually having the courage to code. Yeah, and I've spent just huge amounts of time just reading blog posts and basically just getting familiar with the whole ecosystem before I even became more pragmatically, proficient. Which I don't feel like I'm quite yet very proficient. I feel like there's still a lot of gaps in my understanding, but that's where I'm at. I'm filling the gaps. I think it's my phase of filling the gaps. So yeah, there's tons of GStreamer things, but they're just not a GStreamer top level GStreamer 1.0 thing. But also I don't have a GStreamer thing in my package. So yeah, I suspect there is something wrong with my install. So let's look at some terminal for a bit. And actually, I'm also going to order some food because I feel like I'm going to be fairly hungry soon. And then when the food arrives, then I will sign off. Because I've been going for, yeah, more than 3 hours already. Okay. Yeah, I get some more of those. Okay, done. It should be there in 45 minutes. Okay, so what is wrong with my Nix packages? Do I have nif here? I do have nif here. If I nif show, what does it say? Ah. Whoa. Right, so I don't even have... Oh, right. Nif is inside a specific environment. Yes. So let's go into our streamline thingy and then if show. So here we have the IOHK Haskell thing, the Nix packages. That's for branch master. They're for branch master. So it could be that this is already behind. That's a possibility. Yeah, January 18. Haha. So we could go back a little bit in time in Nix packages until we see that this GST all thing wasn't there. So let's see GST all 1. Where is that coming from? November 18, 2020. Oh, stuff for SRT. I don't know. I suppose I should be able to do the mapping, shouldn't I? I should be able to do the mapping. Let's just understand how mapping works. Blah, 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 equal blah. Okay, let's just try that. Project.nix, maybe? And then what? Sources, sources.nixpackages.overlay, maybe? And then GStreamer 1.0, maybe? And self dot dot gst all 1 dot gstreamer. You're expecting some stuff. Line 5. Yeah, you're not happy with 1.0, yeah. Yeah, but so adding a package alias, but yeah, exactly. I mean, okay. I don't know. How could we make this a string? There's no way we could. But however, those are strings. WTF? Is it just that this documentation is completely out of date, which it was before? PKG maps. No, last month. But it doesn't mean though that the text was the text been updated correctly. But how do I map things? Mapping non-Haskell dependency to Nix packages. Okay, I mean, let's try with a string on top. I don't know. I mean, assigning a string, that sounds completely wrong, but source Nix packages overlays is already defined. La, la, la. Okay, how about we try I mean, actually, the dot should work. In fact, maybe that's not the problem. Oh no, the dot. It's the dot that's the problem. It's not the dash. Oh, it's all wrong. Attribute of skill already defined. Yes, yes. There's a way to do overlays that I've seen my colleagues do, but Nix overlays. Using overlays. In an XOS configuration. Overlays equal blah. How's that? It's not right. Okay, how about this? Oh. Well, that seems to do something. But that's not going to help us because GStreamer.1.0 is not mapped by GStreamer 1. And this is going to be a syntax error. Let's see if we can find these mappings somewhere in the... Well, actually, can we import project.nix? Is that possible? Can we open a file? We can. except now we have a syntax error, but we can. Okay. And what? Okay. And then what am I expecting here? I'm expecting where will these overlays be? In packages? No. No. I think I need to eval Nix packages, don't I? Is that how I do it? Undefined variable. Expert evaluates input expression. A project. No. I mean, we did import a thing, right? We loaded project.nix. Okay, and project is maybe... Project is just a cabal project. Haskell Nix is in there? No. So maybe let's import sources.nix instead. So that doesn't work. Okay, Nix REPL with niv sources. REPL. Inside the provided shell. Oh, inside the provided Nix shell. This provided Nix shell. Is it niv def shell? Okay, I suppose I can Nix shell into this. Can I do that? Doesn't look like it's our archive. So no. And if init does its things, add, update, show, modify. Update, add, custom URLs. Use the Git protocol for the subpath. Use local packages. Thank you for your information. It's good to meet you too. We do have to go. Sounds good. Yes. Yeah, we could program a bot for that, but later, right? Before you go for today. Do you have a public GitHub? I do have a public GitHub, but there's not necessarily tons of stuff on it. I haven't been pushing much, I gotta say, but yeah, that's me right there. Let me put it in the chat. Cool. Awesome. Very nice. Nice to meet you, Joseph. Yeah, Lambda bot stuff. Very cool. yeah, definitely want to bump heads again with regards to your swarm related ideas. Um, yeah, please definitely try to catch me again in the next stream. It'd be really nice to hang out again. And yeah, I'll be following you on Twitch as well, and make sure that I see you pop up on my notifications. Thanks a lot for the interaction. It was nice to interact. Really appreciated it. All right. Let's. What am I doing here? Right, I'm trying to create a REPL which will source the right things from the niv env. And I don't know how to do that. And I think I saw a getting started thing, bootstrapping an Nix project. To use a dependency, import a file, Nix source niv. Okay. So I suppose that this would be the normal way. Yeah, you'd import this. So I think that if we had a, let's say, a REPL.nix, that we put this in there, except with niv in here, or Nix rather, then I think if we did Nix REPL and REPL.nix, that would work. And it looks like it does. And what do we have here? Do we have the GSTL thing? We do. So except that with this REPL thing, we don't have the Haskell Nix stuff, and we want the Haskell Nix stuff. So let's get the Haskell Nix stuff and try and understand. So now we do a with, and we import stuff. Okay, I think I really need to look up the Nix expression language. I realize that I stare at these constructs and I don't even know what they mean. What does this mean? I don't know. Test whether set E contains the attribute denoted by ATTR path. This is ATTR path. So does sources contain import Nix sources.nix? Why would you test that? And I think this means that stuff are going to be in the environment somehow. So, but I thought usually you have a curly bracket afterwards, but here it looks like it's somehow top level. It does. Where does this with go? It seems like this thing also has evolved so much recently. It's hard to keep track of. Right. So here there's lib and with lib. But here we don't do with anything specific. We do with of a top level value. Where we do use sources. So we get sources.niv. I mean, look at this. This is ugly. Niv equal import sources.niv.niv. What? I hate it. This is really bad. That's why I don't want to learn it. Okay, and what is this underscore? Underscore dot. Is it an operator? Doesn't look like so. Notable constructs. It means this stuff is also impossible to search for. Okay, Nix expression language cheat sheet. This should have same page, basic of language, but pills is a different thing, right? Oh no, pills is the name of a blog or a newsletter of sorts. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's okay. Cheat sheet documentation underscore underscore dot. This is really unpleasant. Underscore column doesn't appear in the documentation. That's typically my experience of trying to learn Nix. It is just, it's terrible. Guides. Built-in functions. Nix expression language. That's the page we were looking at. No. Okay, underscore. No, not that. Underscore. No hits. What is underscore in Nix? Oh, that's nice. Definitely don't know all that at all. As you can tell by how much I'm struggling with it. Yeah, I definitely will check Characticle's stuff. But this is so annoying that I can't even search for it, right? Learn Nix in Y minutes. Underscore. No underscore in the page. It's ridiculous. Okay, well, I suppose I will discover one day what underscore means, but that day is not today. And so we do seem like we're in a REPL with the sources. Seems like we have some overlay, meaning maybe that's the one that gives NIF. Oh, so if I do NIF dot, then that will download some stuff apparently, which may be that, right, okay. So those are all NIF specific things, I suppose. And then Haskell Nix, I think, is not an overlay. So we don't know how to import Haskell Nix. Sources is not here, right? Sources is just a variable. REPL. Import sources.nix packages with that overlay and some configuration. projects import those same sources, does something with it, basically putting a Haskell overlay on top, and then says this is what the Nix packages are now. So it should be exactly the same, but I can't import the project directly. I gotta import the shell. Suppose maybe I can import. Can I import the default? Looks like I can. But no, I can't. It's not a function. And so can I, okay, how about, can I import here? I think maybe I can. So if I import Nix sources.nix, is that a thing? So do I need to do this? No. Syntax error, unexpected column. Import Nix sources.nix. No, that doesn't exist. Import Nix sources.nix. That has a Haskell.nix in it. So can I make this some kind of expression? Say Haskell.nix. Should be Haskell missing. But Niv is there. So is that because of a set was expected? Can you do .haskell.niv? .nix. So that works. But that's just, that looks like just that JSON basically. We're not really exporting anything, I understand. Nix REPL -- help. Takes a file. Just remember when I points into. One day I will look back onto this and I will think, how can I not understand all this? But now I definitely don't understand all this. If there is a pkg's attribute in Nix packages that matches the name given in the cabal file, will be added as dependency. So do I need to find how to do an attribute? Because this is a map, right? I think. And so do I need to just find how to do a map with a dot in it? Because visibly it's not this. Can I project.nix? I tried this before. I can't do this. It doesn't give me any GStreamer stuff. Okay, I'm cap locked. Nix shell again. You're not finding this package. Yeah, I need to augment the pkg-conf package mapping. It's a bit strange, right? Because this is sold as I understand it as a mapping, which I suppose is understandable here, indeed. But then this uses a completely different approach to the mapping, which is just so confusing. It seems like that's actually pkg-conf configuration. So hold on, isn't there a Nix search thingy? And if I do pkg-conf, that's okay, but kind of want to see what's pkg-config wrapper, homepage source, how to install. Also, this is confusing the hell out of me as well. Should I have been using NixOS as a basis instead of Nix packages? Confusion. Options is actually what I wanted to search for, yeah. But pkg-conf is not an option, looks like. This is more like NixOS options then. How is this called? pkg.libs.map attributes. cdocs dev pkg maps. Okay. Except that's probably exactly what we've been looking at. But let's try it out. Docs dev pkg map. Doesn't even exist. Ah. pkg map. It's in tutorials, and yeah, that's the same file. See the output of Haskell-Nix. Okay, maybe I can try to see the output of Haskell-Nix, but I need to be in the Nix shell for that, and you don't want us to be. Can I find names? I mean, it seems like it is possible to use. This looks like it's actually a map. And it looks like I am doing overlaying of things. Is it just that I should define an extra library? That also doesn't seem right. No, it's a pkg depends. It's definitely a pkg depends. Pkg conf. Seems to be tests for it at least, but don't know how helpful this is. Issues, Cabal doc set. I'm not picking up extra libraries. I really have no idea whether this actually is supposed to work or not. I really don't understand it. So maybe I should go through the pills. So yeah, maybe I should just go to the pills. Next pills. Why you should give it a try. Yeah, I think I don't need that. Installing the running system. Nix packages expressions. More from the installer. Nix expressions are used to describe packages, how to build them. Nix packages the repository containing all the expressions. Installer downloaded the package description from commit blah. Don't worry about expression yet, we'll get to them later. I think the next step, install something, blah, next step, past merging, querying the store, closures, okay. Recovering, channels, okay. Basic of the language, Nix REPL, built-ins, antivirus, strings, interpolation, quoting, lists, maps, attribute sets, accessing variable, accessing sub or attributes inside an attribute set, or elements in the attribute set. If, let, equal for in A, with long name is plus B, laziness, only value when needed. Yeah. Functions, oh, so that notation is a function and it must have been a lambda. Maybe? XX, so overlay is a function instead of a, but this is a higher order function and it ignores its first parameter. Is that a multi-argument function? It is a multi-argument function. I see. So it's a function that ignores first parameters, calls the second parameters pkgs. Why would you even call your second parameter pkgs though here? You're not using pkgs in there. Doesn't make sense. Let's Nix REPL. So you're saying that if I say overlay O equals that, and then 2, then O is lambda of 1, 2. Yeah. Yeah. And so what if I say that this is the thing? Well, first of all, it's not going to have enough stuff in scope, and it doesn't want the, you might need everything to be the same line, and doesn't want that closing thing. And define variable sources, yes. And so is that going to work if we just, is that unexpected path? Expanded end. Do you want the path like this? No. Oh, what? What am I doing? What if I do sources import .nix sources.nix? That works, it seems. Sources. So not immutable. Not really immutable, not on the REPL at least. And so if I do then this overlay thing, okay, then it works. And I can do overlay 1, 2. And you do a derivation. And .niv is going to have the, so okay. I think I get that a bit better. And overlays will have just that one overlay in it. Why not? And so if I say put also this overlay in it, I mean, first of all, that's a lambda. Okay, so let's call this O2 and call O2 with 1, still lambda 2. That is an integer while a set was expected. So that actually expects Nix packages to be passed because of the self, I suppose. Okay, so in REPL, if I add this in there, then can I leave Nix REPL? And then we'll have, I have to stream a 1. And I will be back. The parameters from the, yeah, but you only have one parameter there, sources. Right. I think maybe I'm getting there. I'll be right back. I need to answer the door. Okay, and I'm back just for a few more minutes. So it looks like we do have a GStreamer. Well, it says it's undefined. Oh, oh, maybe because we need to. Hold on. Is there something underneath it? Oh, right. We can't call it. No, that's the string. An expected identifier. It's something linked to that zero, that the dot. It wants a. Do I need to escape zero here? No. How? I put in a parenthesis? No. Arithmetic attributes. We do have the GSTL thing here, right? Yeah, GSTL.1. So if I do GStreamer here, so that works, but GStreamer 1.0, that doesn't work. So maybe that's the reason why things aren't working properly. Okay, Nix REPL with dot in attribute name. Dot separated list of attribute path. There's dash. Okay. When we find things here, built-ins dash tab. Special characters. Underscore backslash. Functions. Parse trees in evaluation order. That's actually not bad, all this. Let expressions, blah, yeah. Evaluating files. Nix sheets. But this since old. I haven't seen Nix instance sheet at all anywhere else. Recursion, loops, composite data types. Okay, so you can definitely refer to the attribute by. I mean, clearly we use this syntax there. We define the attribute name that way, but then we can't. So how about maybe GStreamer one like this? No. .h lists lm at. That's for list. attr names. Yeah, so if we do built-in attr names of, let's say, just all1. Yeah, we get all this stuff. And if I do gstreamer1 here, will that work? That's not a set, right? Yeah, it's a string. And if I put the dot, then you're confused again. Yeah. So we're still not good. Type of. I mean, clearly it is possible to define an attribute in an attribute set that has a dot in it. It's just how do we call it? Multiparameter args. Filtering has attr. I don't see any syntax. Wow, this is super detailed. Built-in trace, this is for debugging. Yeah, but still not right. Holographic presentation app for the future. What is this? Oh yeah, I've seen this before. Isn't that his Haskell too? Yeah, this is smart. This is smart. And okay. Next attribute set. Maybe is there a language specification? Language specification. That's not a specification. Manual provides a reference of the Nix language. Strings, numbers, path, lists, sets. Dot operator. Dot foobar. Aha. So if we had notation for the ambient set, then we could do gstreamer 1.0 or something, right? Or you can even, oh, hold on. This is the way, I think. Expected dollar curly. What am I missing? Can you only put that inside a declaration? A $bar. Yeah, bar eval is to foo, yeah. unexpected $curly at string. I suppose, yeah, you can only use them in a declaration. You can't use them to invoke. Okay, maybe I can do let x equals. No, I need to know what the ambient. The Nix REPL has some kind of ambient root or expression, right? Is it this? No. Add attribute from resulting set to scope. From resulting set. This seems like the proper reference, really. Yeah, pattern body, yeah. Capacity attribute set. Oh. So that's actually a function that takes a set. So REPL.nix really is a function right there. Huh. Add pattern, yeah. Additional assert. With comment. Not. Nix REPL top level set. Nix REPL Nix packages add the blah and then pkgs dot blah. Pkgs dot. There is the pkgs there. Ah, and that's where GStreamer 1.0 is. And so then you can find this, and if I do this, then you can. Okay. So pkgs, there are too many magic words, what feels like magic words. I mean, this bracket Nix package is there. That evaluates to some folder, right? Can you even echo this? I don't even know how this evaluation thing works. Yeah, it's just magical. Now, I think if you do Nix REPL and Nix packages here, it's tell you that it's a path. Yeah. Copy. And then if you look at what's in there, it's a folder, and it has the pkgs folder in there. don't think we need that here. But then I don't understand. We did the overlay thing, and I mean, it could be that it's related to this corner case of having a module name with a dot in it. I suppose, okay, I suppose that the natural next step would actually be to just download Haskell GI, build it such that it's built locally and that we can oh, I don't have a key. Okay, SSH keygen forget. Okay, let's get. Is there already an ID in there? There isn't. So put it in home turn .ssh ID then, please. And then let's add this to GitHub. GPG keys. Oh. Okay. And then we want to go in it, and we want to add it to the project, and we want to go. Oh damn! But the thing is, it generates all of the kebab files. Oh my god. Kebab new run gen build info blah pubd. Okay. Paste. So not true then. Package location bindings. pkg.sh. Yeah, that doesn't exist. pkg.sh. Update kebab project. Yes. Okay. Update kebab projects. Bad interpreter. Really? Well, I don't have bash. I do have bash. Oh, it's just not in bin bash. That's the problem. Okay. I actually need to. No, that will work, right? Yeah, I think. Yeah. JQ. Okay. All right. Do we have Cabal files now? We don't. Bindings pkg.sh. Ah. Okay. So there is a pkg.sh right there. But about the project, say that we need to run this thing, but like suppose we need to run it from push D bindings. Oh my god. There we go. I suppose without the bin bash it might have not worked. So, and what's going on? It's actually building the things. Oh, new run. Yeah, because it needs to actually do the build. It needs to do the build before it generates the Cabal file. Huh. But that's going to be built with the... What's the ambient GHC here? 884. For some obscure reason, I don't want it to be built on 884, though. That's the thing. So I need to stop that build. I think it's built on 884 because I got GHC installed, and so I need to drop this. Nixenv. How do you uninstall? -R, I would imagine. Files, install. Upgrade, uninstall, dash uninstall. And and we have Cabal here. So, but we don't have a Nix, we don't have access to 810. It's still a bit of a nightmare, this whole Haskell Nix thing. It's not very composable. Maybe it's all because of the fact that I don't have flakes yet and all that stuff. So in theory, I should be able to build these. If I did a Nix thing here that's similar to what I have up there, then I suppose I should be able to have the things. So yeah, let's niv in it. And do the same things. Paste that here. And well, so this won't build yet because of the GStreamer thing, but we can certainly Nix shell. Attribute Haskell Nix missing because we need to niv add the Haskell Nix thing, and then we can Nix shell. It already knows that it needs the GStreamer thing. How does it already know that? Is it because it's in here already? GStreamer, GStream. Hello. Okay, where is that dependency there? Okay, let's search for JStreamer -10 in here. PKG-com 50 pence. Yeah, we know about that, but you're already able to interpret this. This is pretty interesting. I wouldn't have imagined that you would be. Oh, damn, that's because I did that workaround and it completely bit me. Okay, no, I wouldn't need to do this. It's because of this goddamn workaround right there. So stupid. Why doesn't this work? Path. Okay. Is a path? A path must be built-in's path. Okay. Next built-in's path. Built-in import is path. Okay, Nix current path. Build it. If you reference something as a path and not a string, it gets copied to Nix store so it doesn't change its output when you run it multiple times. It's ridiculous how bad any of these searches are. Really, really amazing. I meant search results, but really? /dot? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. No. /dot. That's terrible. Oh no. /dot. Can you believe that? Why didn't I think of that? But it's terrible. Okay. Bindings does not exist. Yeah, those things don't exist. I need to redo this thing, right? Yeah. Oh, but now I don't have GHC. Yeah, right. That's why I wanted to try a Nix shell. But we are... But then it doesn't find the bindings. Yeah, there's just too much automation on that thing. I think it's trying to run cavar.nix before it even gives you the shell, and that is just confusing. So, man, I totally don't want to give up. But I also need some food. So I think I will just make a cut here. I'll eat and collect my neurons and come back and continue forth. So thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in a bit.